What's up, everyone? This is Kronos, aka Adam, back with another WWE Week In Review. As always, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment. Social media is down there. This is the Go Home show for TLC. I also posted my TLC preview and predictions earlier today, as well as my AEW Week In Review as well. So I will have links at the end of this, or just check out the channel if I haven't gotten it up yet. Anyway, so going over everything that happened in Raw, NXT, Smackdown, kind of giving you a play-by-play if you like watching or just don't have the time. That's what I'm here for. So we'll jump right into it, as always. Starting off with WWE Raw, Monday Night Raw. Started with the dirt sheet with Miz. Does this kind of reading of the Nightmare before TLC. Apparently Styles is in the ring. He wants the light on Amos. Miz says no. Morrison's dressed as a Braveheart. He's doing some improv there. AJ and Morrison play fight. They pantomime it. They get a little too much into it. Miz gets upset and tells them to stop. Miz says he'll use his Money in the Bank briefcase during this. AJ's climbing the ladder and he comes down. He's not very happy about that part of the story. Sheamus music hits. AJ throws a Christmas tree to get away from him. Sheamus hits him with one of the presents that is in the ring. We get Sheamus versus AJ right after. I thought that match was supposed to happen later on, but I guess they decided to do it now. Sheamus obviously has the power advantage early on. AJ catches Sheamus getting back into the ring to get the advantage. Sheamus recovers with with a bunch of toss suplexes. Amos, I don't know how they're calling him now, saves AJ from a powerbomb onto the commentary table. We go to break with the refs count at 7, though, which I thought was weird. It was like the ref was counting out, and at 7 we go to break. So I have to assume that everything worked out. We come back from break. AJ's working over the left leg of Sheamus. We get the Irish Curse backbreaker, but he hurts his own leg. Pump knee by Sheamus for a 2 count. Hits his 10 beats while he's staring at Amos. We get the calf crusher by AJ on Sheamus. Sheamus is able to get to the ropes. Goes for the Styles Clash. It gets countered into a white noise. Air raid crash for 2 count. Sheamus is limping pretty bad, but he tries to go to the top. AJ gets away from him. A chop block and then a deep cover for the win by AJ. Sheamus goes after AJ, almost pulls him down as his foot gets caught in the ropes. And that's Sheamus who gets caught in the ropes. And then he's like hanging over the apron. AJ with a bunch of wild chair shots on the chest and leg. And then the refs come to break him up. He goes back after him and hits him more with the chair. We show Hurt Business arriving earlier today. They're talking to a PA who has a bro nut and a riddle hat on. Lashley pours the milk all over him, gets it all over his suit. I don't know what was going on there. Sarah tries to leave, but they're like, no, come back here. So they ask about the match. She asks about the match with MVP and Riddle. MVP says that Riddle can't focus, and they're going to get put on, and they're going to put a hurt on New Day and Hardy later on when they have the 6-man tag. New Day and Hardy are at gorilla position. Riddle comes up to them. Wood says that G4 will not greenlight a quiz show called Riddle Me This. He says, no. How about I'm going to be Bro E in your corner. So then he's with them. So it's New Day and Hardy versus the Hurt Business. Everyone minus MVP. Lashley press slams Kofi. Cedric blind tag. Lashley isn't happy about that. Hurt Business get cleaned out. Woods with the trombone in the ring. Lashley tosses Kofi to the outside with the ref not looking. Kofi's taking a lot of heat during this matchup. He gets a desperation one-legged cave-in on Shelton. Gets the hot tag to Jeff Hardy. We get another blind tag by Cedric. The match completely breaks down at this point. Twist of fate on Cedric. Lashley ends up posting himself when Hardy moves out of the way. Hardy goes to the top. Cedric crotches him, in which Lashley gets the hurt lock for the win. Cedric's going wild, celebrating for this, and everyone notices it, but they're just like, okay, whatever. Lana versus Nia Jax. Asuka's pumping up Lana in gorilla position. Lana getting dominated while Asuka's watching from the back. We get another Rana counter by Lana when Nia was going for a powerbomb. We get a tope. A top rope Samoan drop is countered by Lana. She gets this deep roll up for the win. So Lana obviously pulls the upset over Nia Jax. Shayna attacks Asuka backstage. Then Nia attacks Lana. Shayna comes down to the ring, stomps the arm and leg of Lana. Sheena takes off the boot of Lana for an ankle lock, and Lana's actually selling this pretty well, all the pain that she's feeling. Nia with the leg drop on the legs of Lana. Asuka finally comes out, cleans house. We then get Elias in the ring. As we heard about on main event, Jackson Riker is now with him. Whatever. All I'm saying is they're lucky that there is no crowd for this, because this would get just absolute shit on. Talking about how he was electrocuted. He had visions of Riker, and then Riker chants "Walk with Elias." He speaks. He says he's reborn by hearing Elias's music. He'll stop all the interruptions and the attacks. And then Elias dedicates this song to Lana, who was obviously hurt. Truth comes to the ring. He apologizes for interrupting him on main event. And then he keeps quiet, and Elias says, "Well, what are you here for?" And he says, "No, I just didn't want to interrupt." Obviously, the 24/7 locker room empties. Riker's taking out everyone. Truth flees. Stupid. Miz and Morrison are backstage. They're not happy about AJ thinking he's easier. Keith Lee interrupts. Gives him says, "We're going to do a coin toss. Don't ask me where I got this coin." I don't know if that's some deep cut or something. And one of them wins. And he says, "That's the only thing you're going to win tonight." So we get a 2-on-1 handicap match, Miz and Morrison versus Keith Lee. Clearly, Miz and Morrison, even as Tom Phillips says, they're supposed to be taking in and out, but they're not, and the ref literally does nothing about it. Morrison gets some offense in. We get a really bad pounce spot, because Lee has to basically double clutch, and Morrison looks like he's ready. He's already anticipating jumping out of the ring. And it's the kind of stuff like that make people think that Keith Lee needs to be sent back to the Performance Center, where it was a mistiming thing, but it looked really bad. They get a double team, and then a double team, then a super kick for a 1 count on Lee. More double team, but only get a 2 count. We get the short DDT by Miz, then the standing shooting star press by Morrison for a 2 count. Bulldog half crab submission. Ref doesn't care that the two of them are doing this. Lee suplexes both in desperation. Eventually, they get a double pin on Lee for the win. So, clearly, the ref did not just give a shit about anything here. This is a tornado tag with the ability to double pin. Firefly Funhouse, we have Bray's trip to the Thunderdome. He has a Fiend ugly Christmas sweater. The puppets are at ringside. They have an apology for Randy. No fun and games at TLC, only sadness and pain. Tonight will be fun. They wrote some jokes for Randy. How do you measure a viper? Inches, because he has no feet. Something about windshield vipers. Then Randy gets on the Tron, says he was outmaneuvered. The Fiend outmaneuvered him last week, but Randy asked to play hide and seek, so Bray's obviously excited to do that. We then get Mace versus Ricochet. All of Retribution at ringside, and Ali's on commentary. Joe asks, "When is enough enough?" And they move on from Ricochet. Byron asks about the losses that they've been suffering. He's apparently called a corporate shill. Ali acknowledges that Joe is sitting in Mace's chair. So they're acknowledging who he is, but they still won't say his name. Slapjack and Dijak try to get in. They get thwarted away. Mace with the sit-out spinebuster for a 2 count. Eventually Mace hits some kind of, I don't even know what it is, some kind of slam, twisting slam, something. I'd have to see it again. He hits it for the win. Ali's in the ring, and it ends when he says it ends when Ricochet joins them. So Bray's looking around for Randy backstage. He runs into Riddle. Riddle says, we can do a Bronouns segment, a lesson on the Funhouse. Rambling Rabbits asks. Riddle asked Rambling Rabbit to sign his carrot because his bunny Skipper is a big fan. Shayna versus Dana Brooke. We got a step-up knee strike in the corner for a 2 count by Shayna. Dana pushed off the top for the DQ loss. I don't even remember exactly how that happened. Mandy comes... by Nia Jax. Then Mandy comes out with the kendo stick for the save. Asuka comes to help out. So Lana's out. Asuka needs a new partner. That's when we find that out. Makes no sense. I don't know if Dana or Mandy would be her partner or be somebody else. I didn't really speculate too much because I just had no clue on my TLC preview and predictions. Could be Charlotte for all we know. Who knows? Truth is out. Truth is with Bray and Huskus. Thinks Bray is his father. Huskus is thinks Bray is Huskus' father, obviously. Bray comes across a dark room with an empty rocking chair. Bray sits in it. Randy comes out from behind. Bray beaten and stuffed in like the road case. Then Randy sets it on fire. Then the Fiend appears and gets the claw on Randy as he's coming out of the case. MVP versus Riddle. Basically a Final Flash knee and a floating bro for the win there. It was pretty quick. And then the Ascension ceremony. So this is where they bring the belt to the top for Drew and AJ. A lot of talking from AJ. Miz and Morrison come in to attack. Drew gets the advantage. Distraction from Amos. AJ hits a phenomenal forearm and then puts Drew on a table and then hits an elbow drop from the ladder through the table. So AJ stands tall. Obviously, he's not going to win it. And that is Raw for the week. We then go to NXT. So we got Leon Ruff and Kushida versus Gargano in theory. Obviously, Kushida took the place of Damian Priest, who was supposed to tag with him from last week. So they're Ruff and Kushida are already in the ring. Candice and Io are out with Gargano in theory. No more neck brace for Indy. Johnny and Austin have matching gear, which looks cool. Ruff botches really bad a senton to the outside, but recovers back in the ring. Gets a hot tag to Kushida. Blind tag by Ruff. Tag team offense on Johnny for a 2 count. A Torture Rack Blue Thunder Bomb by Theory on Ruff for a 2 count. We get Ruff with the double super kicked. Kushida breaks the count. We get a diving stunner and then a crucifix bomb. Diving cutter. Does his like twisting diving cutter and then a crucifix bomb on Johnny. Theory with like a crazy underhook flatliner on Ruff for the win. They're calling themselves the Way now, the 4 of them, which I think is pretty cool. So we get Loomis is on some kind of perch with a spotlight, and he's at the easel drawing on a tablet. We get Tony and Rhea video package. Tony ran Rhea out of NXT UK. The last time Rhea won, but that was when Tony respected her. She obviously no longer respects her. We get the Undisputed Era warming up. Kyle O'Reilly and Birch and Logan are pumping up Pete Dunne. We get a Santos and LDF video package. Apparently they've been gone for a few weeks now. Backstage interview with Shotzi. Has a match with Indy Hartwell. Proud of her team at War Games, and War Against Candice is far from over. Tyler Rust versus Ciampa. Tyler Rust is one of Thatch's students who got involved last week. Ciampa leaves a chair with Thatch's shirt on it by the ramp before the match begins. Thatch comes out to ringside, sits down. Apparently Grimes will be out 4 to 6 weeks after the Thatch attacking his ankle. We get Russ boots Thatch by mistake. Thatch escorted away by the refs because he tries to get involved. Back from break, Russ is in control, focusing on the left arm and shoulder. We get an axe kick by Russ for a 2 count. Russ finding ways to try to attempt the armbar on Ciampa. We get this like flip snap mare by Russ for a 2 count. Then goes for the Fujiwara, and then a Rings of Saturn variation. Ciampa eventually gets to the ropes. Eventually Ciampa hits the Willow's Bell for the win. Thatch tries to get at him as he comes back up the ramp, but he's held back by the refs. This is a really good showing by Tyler Rust. Obviously, most of the things I said here were for Russ, but Ciampa got a lot of offense in as well. But Russ was able to hang with him. Apparently, he's got like 15 years of experience here, so I don't know if this was some kind of showcase for him or what, but it was pretty good. Grizzle Young Veterans video package. It was all about momentum, which they had going into 2020. Obviously, pandemic turned everything around for them. We then get a shot of what happened during the break where Russ was in the ring. Bivens comes up to him and says, "You're a star. Come on, let's go. You're a star." They have a fist bump and they leave. Loomis is drawing, we see him again. He's drawing the New Year's Eve logo. O'Reilly versus Dunn. So the winner gets to face Finn at New Year's Evil. So Dane and Drake go after the tag champs who are at ringside. Undisputed Era come in. Then Breezango come in. Everyone gets taken to the back. Really terrific mat-based wrestling back and forth between the two. They're working super stiff, as expected, because that's just the way they are. And then at one point, like Vic totally made it seem like we were going to commercial break, but we get... no, he says like we're not going to get any commercial breaks, bell to bell, but we got picture-in-picture, so it's a little deceiving there. Dunn's in control through picture-in-picture. Kyle gets the cravat on. We get an X-Plex by Dunn. He gets busted open from the mouth at some point. Rolling double underhook suplexes by O'Reilly for a 2 count. Dunn does the finger snap on Kyle O'Reilly. Bitter end attempt on the apron, and then O'Reilly counters with a suplex to the floor. We had a top rope knee to the back of the head of to the head of Dunn by O'Reilly for the win. So O'Reilly will get another shot at Finn at New Year's Evil. Backstage interview with Rhea. Raquel backed down. Period. It's like she backed down. Period. That's it. That's what happened. Going to finish this feud with Tony once and for all. We get a more torture training with Zaya, Lee, and Boa. Zaya is forced basically to beat the shit out of Boa. She's crying while doing it. Still no reveal of the woman. We just get a better look at her eyes and her hands. That's pretty much it. Indy versus Shotzi. Candice with the distraction. Indy caught using the trophy for the disqualification. And then post-match beatdown. That's pretty much it. That was the entire match. We get a Killer Cross vignette, Bronson Reed vignette. He's returning. I don't know why he was away. Then we get a Killer Cross versus, or Karrion Cross versus Desmond Troy. Basically just Saito suplex, cross jacket, quick for the win. It was a squash match, obviously. Backstage interview with Swerve. He says things are getting blown up on social media. He lost and he got frustrated. He wants a rematch next week against Atlas. And then leaves. Everrise walks in, says it was an unfair situation. They want the win stricken from the record books. And Mackenzie's like, why are you yelling? And he's like, they're like, well, you want a rematch? No, we don't want a rematch. You know, what are you trying to do? What are you talking about? You want to go? And then it's like, Everrise rules. So they're doing like the O'Doyle's rules from Billy Madison. We get Cross will face Priest at New Year's Evil as well. And then we get our main event, Rhea versus Tony. It's pretty even early on. We get a ripcord crescent kick by Rhea. Tony rams Rhea into the post on the apron. Tony's in control back from break. We get that nasty Tony headbutt. Sends both down. I love when she does the headbutt. Reverse cloverleaf by Rhea. The counter sends Rhea into the ropes. German release with a bridge by Tony for a 2 count. Tony knocked into Raquel. And then Raquel long darts Rhea into the post. With the ref obviously not seeing it. She gets put back into the ring. Tony hits a Storm Zero for the win. Storm Zero for the win. So that is the end of NXT. We get some real. I think this rivalry with Rhea and Raquel is actually really going to go well. It looks really cool between the two of them. They have a genuine hatred for each other, and they put on an absolute banger the first time. So O'Reilly and Dunn, fantastic match. O'Reilly's going to now get the title shot. Rust, great for Rust. We'll see what they end up doing with him there. And then finally, Smackdown. Where are we at now? Okay. So Kevin Owens out to the ring, calls out Roman, says his family is worried about what he's going to do to Roman, calls Roman a hypocrite. Heyman gets on the Tron, called KO a masochist last week, but he's just a martyr. Says he needs to be taken out. And, if KO says, well, if Roman won't come to me, I'll come to him. So he gets out of the ring. Back from break, Pierce is trying to stop KO from going there. Says, TLC is just a few days away. And then there's a TV right by Roman's dressing room. And KO sees Roman going down to the ring, playing mind games. Roman says he's not the bad guy. He's just doing what he needs to do to become the guy. He gives KO the chance to acknowledge him as the chief and the head of his table, and this will all go away. KO comes out to the ring, but Jay sneak attacks Roman in as well. Refs and staff try to break it up. Back from break, Jay thinks KO understands now, but Roman says no, he doesn't understand. Make him understand. Finish him. So Roman tells him to end him. Then we get our tag title match for the SmackDown Tag Team titles, Street Profits versus Rudolph. Had a promo from Clark Duke, the actor. He says he takes Street Profits. Apparently he's presenting a Slammy Award. That's why he's there. Backdrop driver, standing moonsault by Ford on Dolph, but doesn't go for the pin. Rude knocks Ford off the ropes to the barricade. Back from break, Ford is still taking heat. Hot tag to Dawkins, clean in house. Get an assisted famouser on Dawkins for a 2 count. That looked really cool. Frog splash. Rude breaks the count. Ford grabs the tights for a roll-up on Rude for the win. So obviously a little sneakiness by the Street Profits. Dolph and Rude argue with Little Nate. He threatens them with a suspension. So we get Jay attacks KO with a chair backstage. Backstage interview with Bianca. Bayley isn't a role model, but a measuring stick. Obviously, to beat her would put you on the map. Riot Squad versus Billy and her tag partner Tamina. Horrible backstage promo with the Riot Squad. I don't know who did the writing there, but it was really dumb. Basically, an assisted flatline on Billy for the win. She gets taken out pretty quickly. Tamina's just in shock at this point. So then we get this Carmella Champagne Toast segment. She wants to do a tasting to find the right one for her victory champagne. Sasha's physically gifted, but not there mentally. Never held the title for this long. Stop playing to the crowd, Carmella, because it's ridiculous. You're you're booing me, It's no, come on. There's no crowd there. Most of the people have been able to understand that and get by, and produce some really good promos now. She says Sasha is drowning in her own expectations, and that's why she got herself DQ'd last week, because she's scared. Who is Sasha if she isn't the boss? Sasha's music hits. Obviously, the lackey, the sommelier, goes out to the ramp. She's there from behind. Throws champagne to the face. Tries the bang statement. The lackey pulls her off, gets slapped, and then another bottle to the back by Carmella. We had KO in the trainer's room, nursing his back. Jay attacks him in there and puts him through a table. So apparently the match with Randy and The Fiend will be an Inferno match, a Firefly Inferno match, which is what I talked about in the TLC match, in my TLC preview. But yeah, so I don't know what that means. I don't know if someone has to get set on fire. I don't know if there's going to be fire around the ring. I have no idea. Otis versus Shinsuke. Otis no-sells kicks, goes on the attack. Huge discus lariat. He's about to go for the Caterpillar. Gable stops him. Shinsuke almost rolls him up, but then Otis hits the Vader Bomb for the win. So basically Shinsuke is buried. Plain and simple. Hottest thing coming out of NXT. Fucking buried. Sammy prepping for the Sammy Awards. He goes away to go get something to polish off the trophies. Big E seen laughing, holding the envelopes. We then go to Otis and Gable celebrating backstage. Gable says, well, why didn't you hit the Caterpillar? This whole, telling him not to do something, then do something. It's weird. But then we get the Sammy Award. So Sammy cleans himself up a little and says, the Slammies haven't been good in years, which is, I guess, true. A year in review video. It's just Corey narrating a video about Sammy and his year. Comeback of the Year award goes to Sami Zayn. Match of the Year goes to Sami Zayn for beating AJ and Jeff Hardy at Clash of Champions. Superstar of the Year award, Big E. Big E is out to accept it. Sammy's shocked, obviously, because he expected to win all the awards. Big E then beats him up and tosses him down the ramp. Backstage interview with Bayley says she heard Bianca bragging about past accomplishments. Bianca should be more humble, and she'll put Bianca on the map. And then Bianca versus Bayley. We get keep mocking and trying to one up each other back and forth. Bayley focuses on the left arm of Bianca. Says she's the ER. She's better. Says that to Cole. Bianca sends Bayley into the steps and hurts her hip. Stalling suplex by Bianca. We get a springboard moonsault by Bianca for a 2 count. Bayley tries to squat while Bianca is draped on the ropes. Finally, Bianca counters that. Spinebuster by Bianca for a 2 count. You can see Bianca starting to get frustrated. Bayley caught using the feet on the ropes, and then as Bianca goes for a powerbomb attempt, Bayley rakes the eyes, hits the rose plant for the win. So essentially, Bayley, who's been losing pretty much for months now and hasn't done anything, then gets this win against Bianca, who's rising. But I just don't know where they're going with it, because I'm fine with Bianca. I mean, with Bayley, chicken shit healing the win, but it just feels like a little weird because she's been losing so much. She lost in Italia. She couldn't chicken shit heal her way into a win there. So Roman's out to the ring. We have an opportunity for KO to be on the island of relevancy. KO comes out limping to the ring, hits Jay with the chair. In the ring, he gets a super kick and a spear. He gets put through 2 tables, then buried in the ring under chairs, tables, ladders. Roman goes to the back. He's about to get interviewed, but then they look at the monitor and they see KO rising up from it, gets himself onto a chair, grabs a microphone, says nothing's going to keep him down, and he's going to win that Universal title or die trying. And so obviously Roman looks really pissed off and walks out. And that is it for SmackDown, and that is it for the week in review. So as always, I give my match of the week. How could it be anything other than Pete Dunne versus Kyle O'Reilly? That was a takeover level match. Stiff shots, beating the crap out of each other by two of the best wrestlers we have in the industry right now for the chance to fight Finn Balor at New Year's Evil. This is very interesting. Unfortunately, it does suck because I don't think anyone's going to take the title off of Finn at this point. So I think they maybe rather have Kyle O'Reilly lose it to Finn than have Pete Dunne to lose it to Finn. At least this way, if you want Pete Dunne to be the champ, you can, slowly rise him up without having to take a title loss. I'd rather him a regular loss than a title loss already. But we'll see. But that match was awesome. If you haven't had a chance, watch it. And there you have it. That is my WWE Week in Review. Don't forget to check out my TLC preview and prediction as well as my AEW Week in Review. As always, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment. Social media is down there. And that's it. So enjoy TLC this weekend. And as always, be safe, love each other, and bye now.